Mr. Hilal, SMEs consultant and marketing consultancy from Kuwait. تفضل. Go ahead, please.
Okay. Good evening or good morning, everybody, wherever you are in this life, in this world. My name is Dr. Hilal Al-Hilal. I am now marketing for the freelancers, advisor, coaching, and planning. For the last 10 years, I've been training and I was consulting in addition to teaching people, especially during the pandemic, regarding the freelancing. And what I have found after like a long study, let me just get this down. There is three pillars people as they need it. The freelancing itself, the purpose they are searching, and the audiences they're trying to reach, which at that case, we are asking ourselves why, because we have to know the why before we start going on and dig deeply. So there is three whys, starting from why people do, especially during the pandemic, they start thinking about in depth by freelancing, side hustling, side by side to their job they are doing in the morning. There is lovely doing work for your purpose, for your insight and depth of your or of love of productivity. That's the lovely thing about it, and which is promising to take you to independence. So it's the most key factor here and key driver that because people doing the freelancing in a step to go totally free. And I was witnessing people, those who went from like working a full-time job in the morning to their full flexibility and working freelancing until this the very moment now I'm speaking. It is not just in Kuwait, not just in the Gulf region, it is worldwide a growing business and a growing economy. That thing leads us to the path of their stability and the creativity, which is it gives them the challenges because there is inconsistent income and not as before that every 25th or every 27th they have a fixed salary coming. There is the time that's unbalanced between job, work, life, family, these things distracting them and makes them fatigue. So during digging themselves in that business, making them in the limited resources of networking. And the goal here is to build a supportive ecosystem to make them overcome these challenges here. And what I mean about this sustainable ecosystem, it's a place where there will be collaboration, there will be resources, there will be financial planning, marketing planning, exchanging, how should I put it, exchanging, let's say, experiences and showing the skills, showing the know-how, showing how to do things, and increase their quality of networking. Not like a number, but quality networking, that there is a lawyer, that there is like a marketer, there is a printer, there is everybody there in their surrounded circle. So the steps for this creating supportive community got key points in here. We need like to be engaging with freelancers and the clients, so to know from the two sides of the coin who needs what and why they need that. They need during all the time a mentorship. Someone is to guide them, as if it is like a compass behind it or a GPS system to tell them do this and do that. That's the mentorship needed. They need too many resources, starting from agreement, starting from how to do this billing, pricing, and it's on and on and on. Even the time tracking is a fatal thing here to them because many of them, they don't keep time tracking, not even pricing time for themselves. On the other hand, the productivity for them needs some tools, needs some skills. So the basic things that they do or need to do more productive work so they can handle more than 3 clients, they need time management strategies, they need skill development strategies, and how to deal with money of all kinds. And in here, I'm speaking about a study with a conducted over like 173 freelancers. So, in a part of side hustling, those who grew full-time as a consultant, some went balancing 2 jobs, and the lesson here of the importance of ecosystem, and they need that thing. I saw them always hooked to these fancy brands like Fiverr, LinkedIn, Upwork, Khamsat, the social media, all of kind, and they are taking some content from here, some lessons from there, they get some clients somehow sometimes, but it's not stable. Pardon me. So here comes the idea of building and connecting a collaborative place where they communicate 24 hours 7 and always focus on their strength and make their weaknesses weaker to vanish or make them stronger. So the vision behind all that is there is a goal. We need to make like a collaborative, a friendly, an open space so they can join, so they can scale up and grow behind a way until they reach the moment they get their flexibility. So we are delightful to launch a meaningful and good Zawiya community. It's a website, it's a community where we had a weekly discussion, we had a weekly mentorship, we had private membership, dive and dig, everybody with me or with others with the same experience, collaborating to help. In addition to the resources, we have ebooks, we have all kinds of things that cross to your mind, that thing. So we can nutrate them as a freelancer, so until the moment they can nutrate clients from a willing buyer to buyers. And we have here to make them stronger. All that's happening is to connect the gap between the know and how and the need. Thank you very much. If there is any question, I'm delightful to answer.
Thank you, Dr. Hilal. We would like to thank you very much. We would like to Dr. Professor Krishnan now, Najathan. We will wait to check with him. Prof. Krishnan, welcome back to our meeting. We would like to show us what will today say. We are happy to listen you. Thank you, Dr. Krishnan. Dr.
Can you see my presentation? Can you see my presentation?
Your sound, it's low. Can you raise your sound, please?
Can you see?
Yes, I see you. It's very good. Very nice. And now it's
And
very,
the
thank
sound
you.
is also should be good now. Yep.
It's very nice.
Yep. Thank you very much. And thanks, Dr. Hanadi, for once again inviting me. It's a pleasure to always come and talk to this forum. The topic that I have is how is EdTech shaping the future of learning? This is very interesting because one of the largest EdTech company in the world, at least an Indian company in the world called Byju's, has just gone bankrupt. And that's very interesting. So when we talk about EdTech shaping the education technology, shaping the future of learning, you also see that some of the companies are going bankrupt. Why is that happening? And what is this entire trend about? By the way, I'm also involved in EdTech. I'm launching my own EdTech startup. So there's a lot of learning from that. Over the centuries, if you see education, how has education changed? There are two parts to everything. There's value creation and there is value capture. These are two different things. If you look at the value creation per se, over centuries, this has not changed. We are still there's lots of knowledge available. Historically, in the olden days, with scientists, with researchers and everybody, even now, there's so much of knowledge that is available for us. And it's constantly evolving and it's available for everyone. Unfortunately, the challenge for education is to enable the learner to acquire the right knowledge. It doesn't matter that the knowledge is there. Knowledge is there and everyone knows that, but the challenge for education has always been one of enabling the learner to learn. Teachers and gurus have been doing the jobs. And that's the problem with the entire education system, because teachers and gurus have limited time. You don't expect them to teach 24 hours a day. They have 8 hours of teaching to do. They have to learn themselves. They can only do so much. There are only so many good teachers and gurus that are available in this world. That has been one of the biggest blocks of learning, education. If you come to the second part, how is the learning captured? How is the process of learning captured? It's always been this one. We have so little of the value being really captured. So few people are getting educated. And even those, many of the people who are getting educated are not employable. Why is that? One, of course, is availability of teachers. The second, of course, is how are we educating people? Our methods of education hasn't changed dramatically over centuries. I'm not talking about decades. I'm talking about 2000 years of learning. If you go back, we are doing learning exactly the same way. We are doing learning in schools. We are doing learning in universities. These are edifices that we create, where teachers come, students come, and a teacher can teach so many students. So there's a capacity problem. You have to build a lot more education institutes. You have to have a lot more teachers so that you can effectively teach. So the entire problem with the education system has been one of value capture, not of value creation. And that is what EdTech is trying to solve. How do we actually change the way we capture the value of education? How do we deliver that? So what I did when I'm doing it is I always look at this model of innovation which was developed by Henderson and Clark in 1990. And if you look at that, there is one simple thing that comes up. Always people use different tools. But tools are only part of a system. You can take, for example, if you take education, Bloom's taxonomy is a tool. We've used Bloom's taxonomy to make sure that learning is effective. But it's only a tool. It doesn't change a school. It doesn't change the college. It doesn't change the university structure. You still are delivering by the same teachers, but in a different way within the same structure or the architecture, as we call it. The second one we talk about is, can we improve the environment of education? So make schools more fun, classrooms more fun to do. You talk about putting some amount of, making classrooms healthy by putting air conditioning, making sure that the children have all the sorts of things that is necessary for them to learn and so on. Excuse me. But over the period of time with technology, we've also have some architectural changes. How do you use digital tools in existing institutions? And this is one of the interesting things about EdTech. What has happened is that we are using digital tools exactly the same purpose as we taught before. The process hasn't changed. Instead of using a blackboard, we are using more intelligent boards. Instead of doing physical experiments, we're doing experiments with the things which are more technologically sophisticated. But fundamentally, we are doing the same. So what are the changes that are happening? So I see this are the sorts of things that are happening. There are digital learning tools that are come up. Things like the Khan Academy, Coursera, that deliver content online. It hasn't changed the school. It hasn't changed the university, but it's just an app that is available. Schools today are accessing Khan Academy. Universities are accessing Coursera for content. That's what has changed, basically. Not much has changed. Then you have learning management system, whether it is Moodle, Blackboard, Canvas, all of this. These are managing information. They are not changing schools. They are not changing education in any way, but only providing management. Then you have adaptive learning technologies. These are emerging ones, still not something that is common. We have gamification. These are tools that to engage people to learn. There is emergence of VR, virtual reality, or augmented reality in education, emerging things. And we are beginning to use data analytics. These are some of the things that technology is bringing. However, today, when people talk of EdTech, they are talking about these as tools. They are not talking about these as fundamentally systems that will change education. We are still saying, oh, my digital learning tool will change things in terms of how learner learns. And to do that, we need to understand how different players look at education and how are those needs changing. If you look at education, there are 4 clear players that are happening there. There are learners, there are educators, there are institutions, and there are parents and sponsors. I put the word parents and sponsors simply because today education is becoming lifelong, and hence even companies are sponsors of education. If you really look at them, each of them has very, very different needs. A learner needs quality. He wants learning to be personalized. No longer are people happy to have a standard course. They want it to be effective. They want it to be relevant to the marketplace, that it will get them a job. That is something that is very clearly. In the earlier times, all it mattered was having a degree. today, many companies don't even bother about a degree. They tell you that degree doesn't matter. It is your qualification which matters. Are you employable is a question that people ask. So there's a fundamental shift there. Second, educators, they are saying we need efficient tools. We need to assess and engage our learners. And they are having very different ones, because in the earlier times, schools and universities were smaller, where you could very easily directly engage. Today, if you're looking at digital learning through Zoom and things like that, you need more efficient tools for actually engaging and assessing the learners. Institutions are coming up with completely different one. They're saying no longer is it scalable to build schools. I have a school with so many students, thousands of students. Can I build a school with 10,000 students at the same place? There's no way we can do it. Cities are crowded. There's not enough space. You can't just add classrooms. You can't just keep on adding teachers and students. There's a limit to what you can achieve. It's a function of multiple things. They're saying we need a reliable system for management and delivery of education. How do we do that? Then the parents and sponsors are coming up with completely different requirements. They're saying, no, we need transparency in education. We want to know what is happening with our education. They are asking that we need to know what is the cost. How can the cost come down? And they are saying, I don't care about degrees now. I want employability. I'm paying so much for my wards, my children's education. I'm paying so much for my employees' education. Are they employable? Do they come out of education as people who can readily get this one? So how is this needs being met today? These needs are being met by schools and universities. I call them commodities. Schools and universities are no longer different from each other. Everything is a commodity. No two schools are different. They have absolute similarities. The differences are all window dressing. It's all marketing that is making the difference up here. But at the end of the day, it's exactly the same. They are all identical. They have the same curriculum. They have the same exam system. They have the same evaluation practices. So if you look at it, there is nothing unique about them. They are all commodities. So if you are a parent today, I would recommend that don't bother about the reputation of the school. Just put them in any school. Your child will get the same quality of education. Unless there will always be outliers, there will be one or two very good education institutions. There will be some 10% which are very poor. However, today we are also seeing digital learning tools. We are seeing Coursera, we are seeing Upgrad, things like that, which are coming and then say, no, we are actually custom built. However, those models are still emerging. No one knows how these are going to be there. They are technologies that are there, still to be matured. It's still evolving. Then there is data analytics. Today, we can get much more information about what education is about. So data is very easily available. But the newest thing that is coming out is what is called adaptive learning systems. Systems that are changing depending on the skill of the person, and the curriculum changes, the content changes, and so on. Underlying these things, which are very visible, are things that are not visible to normal people. Schools require energy. Energy has become a very big one. Does your school provide a great environment? Does it provide air conditioning? Does it provide fans? Is it a good environment for children? That's a factor. Even though you might not think they are very important factor. Classroom equipment. Now, these are again commodity that are existed for long. the school facilities, the learning tools, these completely commodified, that exists there. Very few people look at it. But there's a lot of things that we can do as to improve them. A lot of things that we can do to innovate there. We still do experiments in schools and labs the old-fashioned way. Can we adapt new technologies there? That's also EdTech, by the way. That's also education technology. Could we change the classroom equipment for things like experiments and so on? Can they be digitally done? Do we need to have it the old-fashioned way? Can all of that learning dramatically change? How do we use technology there? That's one big domain that's been left out by people, most education technology people. Then there are books. In the era of ChatGPT and open learning, what's the role of a book? Today we have access to so much of content, so many of the books. When will books get replaced by digital content? However, it's not something that is happening very fast. It's something that should happen. How can you replace books with something more exciting for people to use, something more that is aligned for people to learn better? Digital content is something that is growing day by day, but can it be customized? Today, a lot of the digital content that is happening is conversion of existing ways of teaching into digital. When I say that, I'll explain that a little bit. So today you have a mathematics teacher teaching a concept. What is digital content happening is video recording of what the teacher teaches in the class. It's not really digital use of digital power. It's not really the use of digital technology to learn. There's a whole different way that we need to look at digital content. That's a difference between digitization and education technology. So how do we get there? And that is a huge area and massive area of investment and development. Then there is this big topic of educator skill development. My wife is a resource person for training teachers in India. The message is that there are 100 people in our state that can do that. And the demand is for 2,000 people, 2,000 such trainers. Where are these skilled educators going to come from? How are we going to do this skill development for educators? We can do all technology, but if the teachers are stuck in an old-fashioned one, they do not know how to do that, how to effectively make use of that, is still back to square one. We are not going to utilize the power of technology. We're just going to use technology for the sake of technology, not utilize the power of technology. Then there are learning platforms. These are emerging. I was listening to the earlier presenter. That's a great learning platform for gig workers. I'm creating today a learning platform for adults on innovation. Completely different. It's very unconventional. It's not something that will be taught, but where instead of teaching 50 students or 100 students a year on innovation, I can actually reach up to 50,000 students. How do I use technology that way? There's a whole host of research and innovation that's happening there. And finally, digital learning tools. How do we use AR, VR to actually learn? How can we get better at learning using digital technology? Really use technology for learning, not for technology to improve processes of teaching, not for improving the process of education. So really do that. So if you look at it, there are a lot of things that are happening in the genesis phase and the custom innovation space. The left side of this is all about innovation. And today, there's so much opportunity. So we are just scratching the surface of EdTech. We are going to see a huge movement on using education technology to redefine the way education is done. So I go back to this slide and reflect there, and I'll finish that. So what are we trying to see as transformations? We are seeing learning platforms which moves things from schools and universities to online platforms. People can learn at their own rates. We're seeing outcomes. The outcomes will no longer be degrees and certificates. In the future of education, no one is going to be bothered about degrees and certificate. They are going to be looking at micro credentials and employability credential. That's a very different way of looking at it. Curriculum. People are going to say, no, I will define what curriculum I want to follow, what I want to learn. I'm not going to depend on a university, excuse me, or an education board to design what I should learn. I want the choice based on my needs. There will be transparency, which is about gamification, digital dashboards. We're not going to depend on progress reports. We're not going to depend on PTA, Parent Teachers Association meetings. Today, a lot of parents get details about the awards performance only in the progress report. They are going to be a thing of the past because you will have digital dashboards, you will have gamification. Technology will enable new ways, not to enable existing ways. Today, a lot of EdTech is focused on how can I make my existing ways digital. The future is going to be saying, oh, I have a digital technology. What can I do with this? So these are the 5 parameters on which we see education transformation happening, EdTech transforming education. So I've looked at education from the lens of an innovator and then said, how is this going to happen? How are these going to impact us as future communities? And these are some of the key things. So if I look at it, I think sooner than later, we will have radical innovation happening in education. And then universities, the big universities and things like that will become history, will no longer be the ones that tell us how education should be happening. So that's what I wanted to share. These are, so if I'm actively working on curriculum, redefining curriculum in my domain, which is innovation. I am working on micro credentials and employability credentials as a code, changing from certification and degrees. I am saying, how can I use technologies in new ways to create learning platforms? So I'm personally engaged in many of these, in all of these elements. And so I was super excited to share what I could add to this. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Krishnan, Professor Krishnan. Thank you, Dr. Hilal. We are grateful for the knowledge and experts you have shared, as you have added significant value to this discussion. Thank you very much, Dr. Hilal, Prof. Krishnan. We would like to talk with Dr. Hanadi also. Dr. Hanadi,
Yes.
are you here? Thank
Yes,
you, Dr.
I'm
Hanadi.
here. Yes, we will open discussion. Hi, Krishna. Hi, Hilal. It's amazing presentation for both of you. I'm impressed to seeing this information. In fact, for the education, Mr. Krishna, Professor Krishna, for the education, did you think the new generation will accept all the new tool and the new strategy for the education?
I think the new generation is frustrated with what is available. Today, a lot of the new, I would specifically speak in, my son is getting educated in Europe. He completed his education in Europe. I've seen people get educated in the US. I've seen people getting educated in India. And I can tell you that there's a marked difference that people are expecting. Today, a lot of degrees are expensive, but they are not making sure that people are employable. That's true not just in India, that's true across the world. And people are frustrated. I take expensive education loans, and at the end of it, I can't get a good job. That's a problem for people. And that is because we are teaching old stuff, not really relevant to what people need for the current generation.
And do you think the new program for innovation and entrepreneurships or technology transfer will be helping those students to attract those students to be part of those center in the university?
The short answer is no, I don't think so. I think that many of the courses are very poorly designed.
Okay, it depends about the design of the course.
Absolutely. It's a problem with the course design, not with the learners. We seem to blame the learners for a lot of problem. No, I think it is the entire system that is broken. We are taking an old way into a new world.
Okay.
And that needs to change.
Okay. Dr. Hilal, what is your opinion about the latest platform for the freelancer? Do you think this one will be cutting edge the full-time employee?
Well, to be honest, so far I have 26 registered subscribers. On the other hand, this community it's about to be the new trend for, or instead of the direct mentorship or direct consultations, because it is cost-worthy. On the other hand, that one, it is open for 24 hours, 7. So it is from all to all. There is no one guy lecturing another one for 1 hour or 2 hours and then vanished and finished. No, it is like for 24 hours availability. That's why there is like a lot of thirsty people need that fountain and going for that fountain and enjoying that fountain.
Yes. Yes. Thank you so much.
More to be subscribers.
Yes.
Going.
Professor Krishna, is the teaching the innovation in early stage for the student will be important to teach them about the innovation, let's say in the high school? Because the problem, it's what we're facing in the university. The inventors may be doing some inventions in the end of the college and the graduation project. But before that, they told us we don't know anything about the invention, about the registration, about the process, about the prototype.
Again, as I said, the problem is not theory. You don't want to teach theory. For example, in the Indian schools, the curriculum, they have introduced a course, they have introduced a subject called innovation and entrepreneurship. Who is teaching it? The economics teacher is teaching innovation and entrepreneurship. That's not helping. that is not a solution to the problem. If you want young people to innovate, you have to coach them on innovation. You cannot teach innovation. So there's a difference between teaching and coaching. A lot of things that is happening in schools is teaching. I talk, you learn. But innovation, if it has to succeed, people have to be coached. They have to do things to learn. And that is not what is happening. So yes, you need to go to schools and show them, but you don't need to teach them. You need to coach them. Do we have the system to do it? I don't think so.
Krishna?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, what is your opinion, you and Hilal, and also Dr. Saleh, for the future, for the technovations in our country or for the next decade?
No one can stop it. It will happen.
How we accelerate those process?
Getting more innovators, coaching them. They will seek out where they can do it. People are not going to wait for people to come and tell them. They will go and find out. They will do it by falling down multiple times, but they will do it. What we can have, if we develop better curriculum, better coaching methodologies, we can help this process become fast.
Okay. Dr. Saleh?
اهلا دكتور، اهلا وسهلا.
If you have any discussions, Professor Krishna, he is certified from 360 Innovation. He is also graduated from the Harvard University. He is a top advisor through the world in innovation, but it's not well known same as other who will be available all the time on the social media and speaking about the innovation. And in fact, they don't know what is the definition of the innovations. You know, now you will see many marketing for the people as a speaker. They speaking about the topic, just they pulling the theory from the internet and they present themselves. I'm a speaker in innovation. I'm an innovator. I'm knowing about the innovation. When I announce about my my initiative in 2020, and I've been in contact and invited in several media channels, let's say for the radio or for the TV. I told them, look, I'm in the domain more than 30 years, but I keep hearing the people in the previous years in the media and everywhere talking about the innovation. Could you stop some people and ask him about the definition of the innovation? Could you stop them and ask him what do you mean by entrepreneurships, and what is the difference between inventors or entrepreneurs and inventors? And they told me no at all. I told them, look, I will start my statement by defining first what do you mean by innovation, to make it so simple for the other who is talking about the innovations, because those are the people for the media, they don't know anything. They just ask you general questions. They don't care what definition by innovation or technovations or techno-entrepreneurships. Then this is the main problem for us. We're seeing many people talking about the innovation, but unfortunately, they are away from the innovations and entrepreneurship. I think the time will be over. Thank you so much for Professor Krishna. You will be a strategic partner for our conference. I invite you from today, 10 to 12th of November next year. And also, Hilal, you joining us this year, but you are an old friend for us. We hope so to seeing you next year. Dr. Saleh, thank you so much for chairing these sessions. You are also a partner for us. And for the next sessions, Dr. Hassan Al-Bahrani will taking taking care about the next track, talking about smart cities and infrastructures for the airport life. Thank you so much for the presenter, and Dr. Hassan, the floor and mic for you.